In this WrestleTalk news, Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani heat, AEW fans are Freakazoids, and Ollie reviews last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
It's fair to say that AEW President Tony Khan has had a pretty rough go of it lately, with major backstage dramas, physical bust-ups, talent release requests, and just general unrest keeping AEW firmly in the headlines. As a result, it was no surprise that prolific MMA and wrestling interviewer podcaster Ariel Helwani wanted a piece of the action by inviting TK on for a chat on his October 6th edition of his show. However, according to Helwani himself on his MMA Hour podcast, the interview left him feeling far from satisfied, calling it one of the not-so-fun interviews from his career. He didn't want to answer anything. You're gonna come on and promise X, Y, and Z? Great, and I'll play that dance with you. I did at the beginning, but you got to give us something. To not even tell me how you were feeling. I'm not asking for specifics. All right, fine, I am. But is Punk going to wrestle for you? Is he coming back? You don't want to get into it, fine. But tell me how you were feeling. Give me something. During the interview, Khan did little to provide Helwani and his listeners any insight into the ongoing situation regarding Brawl Out. But given there is an ongoing legal investigation into the situation, that's probably the right thing to do. However, to receive no update or insight whatsoever may have been frustrating for fans and Helwani himself. Helwani's outspoken frustrations on the matter led to backlash from the hardcore AEW audience on social media, something that Helwani himself predicted before he made the comments regarding Tony Khan. The influx of anti-Helwani comments were compiled by Twitter user Boris Toxic Luchas and contained jibes labeling Helwani as a paid WWE shill and a phony journalist, among many others. This led Helwani to strike back on Twitter, saying, "You AEW Freakazoids are nuts. You're all mad that I said I didn't enjoy one interview, yet for the past year plus, every time I talk wrestling, I have praised the product. Said WWE was stale, blah blah. Said on Simmons' pod in July, my show 100 times, look it up and chill out. Sheesh." The situation led Dave Meltzer to also weigh in on Twitter in defense of Helwani. Just saw it, he had the right to be frustrated with the interview. I've been as well with covering AEW of late, which I talk about all the time, so can't disagree. However, Meltzer then elaborated by saying that claims that only AEW has problems with his form of fan tribalism is hilarious. Yesterday, it was reported by the sometimes sort of reliable ringsidenews.com that there was significant backstage heat towards a new face in WWE's creative team. WWE's new director of long-term creative, Rob Fee, who previously served as a lead writer for numerous Disney shows prior to his WWE hiring, had reportedly rubbed many backstage producers the wrong way, predominantly for talking down to writers. Oh yes, and he also wished Tony Khan a happy 40th birthday on Twitter, and unfortunately, being nice on wrestling Twitter is sure to get you some hate. However, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, this is not in fact the case at all. Taking to Twitter, Sean said, WWE officials across creative and the broader business laughed at the reports that Rob Fee is making enemies at the company. His work and treatment of others have both been positively received, which then led to Fee himself poking fun at the situation, saying, "Lol, we all had a good laugh at that this morning while I was hitting the writer's assistant with chairs," and then presumably biting one of them. Fee is reportedly close friends with Bray Wyatt, and despite reports originally stating that he was receiving heat for taking credit for Bray's return, it is being stated that Fee himself was instrumental in the White Rabbit teases that planted the seeds deliciously for Bray's epic return at the end of Extreme Rules. I, for one, hope he received a good fee for his work, or he might be feeling a bit robbed.
Before we get on with the rest of the video, I'd just like to say a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Surfshark VPN, which you can get 83% off and 3 months free if you go to surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk and use the code WrestleTalk. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole new world of content libraries. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. If you're outside the UK, you can watch the BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior superior functionality. I hate change. We've all been using Surfshark here at WrestleTalk for years now. It's our official VPN. And it doesn't just let us gain access to all the wrestling, it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private. My collection of ultra swole Pokemon must be protected at all costs. And my favorite feature for this is that Surfshark knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having a babyface wrestling faction for your phone. So sign up to Surfshark today by clicking our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/WrestleTalk, where you'll get 83% off and 3 months free if you use the code WrestleTalk. We'd really appreciate if you at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support WrestleTalk and support your internet privacy with Surfshark. It's Thursday, you know what that's all about. Time for my review of AEW Dynamite Toronto edition. In about 5 minutes. Because Canadians love other people who were born in Canada, Excalibur opened the show introducing AEW's newest broadcast team member, Renee Paquette. It's no Kevin Patrick, but I guess it'll do. Renee then did what all the best AEW interviewers do, ask 2 questions and then disappear. They were to Christian Cage, another Canadian, to set up the hot opening Jungle Boy vs Luchasaurus match. Both men worked their blood feud great together, with a sunset flip powerbomb through a table outside, a Luchasaurus Undertaker sit-up spot which deserved a far bigger pop, and some excellent reversals. But Cage's presence at ringside helped Luchasaurus get the win. I'm not entirely sure what you do with Jack Perry now. He's lost this feud for now and should do something else until Christian is cleared again. I'm far more optimistic for Luchasaurus. With this win and Christian in his corner, he could be booked into one of Wardlow's first serious TNT threats. The firm revealed they've bought Private Party's contracts backstage, which led to Matt Hardy getting his contracts put on the line in a match against Ethan Page to win them back. Because putting contracts in match stipulations worked so well last week. This was all very, what's the kindest way to say this? Dark Elevation. And speaking of Dark Elevation, it's QT Marshall. QT and Nick Comoroto got squashed by TNT champion Wardlow and ROH TV champion Samoa Joe. It can get confusing to keep track of all these belts in AEW, so I'm going to keep these handy trackers on screen throughout. The Embassy came out afterwards, even though Wardlow already beat Brian Cage last week, which brought out FTR, who said they had the perfect man to even the odds. A returning Shawn Spears. This meant that 4 members of the Pinnacle were back together. I knew they were good people all along. It was just their toxic leader that poisoned their minds. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Tully Blanchard. Somehow looking 20 years younger than the rest of DX from Monday night, Daddy Ass took on Swerve Strickland in a fun match, which Swerve cheated to win, furthering that heel persona. Keith Lee's absence feels rather disjointed though, and the segment closed with Mark Sterling revealing he'd trademarked scissoring away from the Acclaimed. It was kind of fun, but I'd prefer something better for the tag team champions. I thought MJF's slight babyface turn tease last week wouldn't be picked up on again for a while, but it was actually immediately addressed in a backstage interview. First, Max dressed down Stokely Hathaway for interfering when not asked last week, which Stokely looked like he's planning revenge for, and then MJF added a new layer of compassion for his character, saying that he has to be the bad guy, that he doesn't like himself either, but this is what it takes to be the best. The self-awareness, the lack of cheap hometown heat, in Canada of all places, felt like a further conscious step towards turning face. But most intriguing was his tease that he and William Regal share a dark history, which will surely come out soon. Thanks for your support on Patreon, Ronald Coleman, baby! And he can last Sean Fur longer than you in the ring. You too can get your own shout out by going to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Ahead of his title defense against Hangman Page next week, Jon Moxley cut an in-ring promo with a checkered shirt wrapped around his waist under a leather jacket. That's so Raven. Hangman came out to say he respects Mox as a wrestler, as a person, as a father, but he disagrees with Mox calling him a kid. He went on to cut an intense, emotional promo about he is depressed. The medicine isn't working, but he keeps coming back. was a powerful message of resilience, which he supported by punching himself in the head so hard it immediately raised in a red bump. He even made a very slight Elite reference, saying his friends have disappeared. Typical Hangman going into business for himself in a promo. You're such a cold, calculating politicker, Hangman! MJF watched this all on from the rafters because that's the main part of his gimmick now. After a great video package with ROH archive footage of Bryan Danielson as its world champion, Chris Jericho defended that belt against the American Dragon. In what was a fun, slight mirror image, both men played up Hulk Hogan poses, leaning into the Hogan vs. Rock WrestleMania 18 match from the same Toronto location. It didn't go quite full-on double turn, but Jericho, the heel, was getting cheered because he is from Canada, while Danielson was getting slightly booed. They had another very good match in their series, but the finish booking left me cold. The referee got taken out, so Jericho goes to use the title belt as a weapon. Daniel Garcia runs down to stop him, but then takes out Danielson anyway to help Jericho retain. I feel like this is repeating a step we've already had in the story, similar to the ineffective 2 heel turns for Luchasaurus in the Jungle Boy Christian feud. And if it's all revealed as a ruse, don't think that will be narratively satisfying either. It's the Lady Quarter Hour now! Nyla Rose is claiming to be the TBS champion, so Anna JAS set up a match for it. What is going on here? They're even having matches for fake titles! Also, this whole story is based around Jade Cargill's reign being a bit boring. Then we had Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker lose to Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. Shida, just in case we lose count, came out with 2 of her own titles from other promotions. Shida got the pin on Baker, which sets up a filler title shot against Storm. This felt very inconsequential and a step back to before Saraya's debut. And the main event saw Pac lose his All-Atlantic Championship to Orange Cassidy in a match full of great spots. After cheating to win with the hammer for weeks, Danhausen and the ref stopped Pac, which led to Cassidy hitting 2 orange punches to win his first ever title in AEW, which is super meaningful with 14 other championships also on this episode. What did you think of Dynamite? Let me know in the comments. As always, I cannot fault the in-ring wrestling. It's consistently fantastic. The promo work is also largely very good. My problem with this episode is the booking, the Garcia turn, the ROH mid-card schmoz, and a promotion flooded with championship belts. Having all these titles literally on screen is annoying, isn't it? It's no different with the actual product. This week's Dynamite is 72%. But for a change, an ROH faction might be on their way to WWE. Watch on to find out more.
Hello, welcome to this WrestleTalk reactive news video. I am Chubba P. I'm joined by Randy Andy Datson, and we're going to be reacting today to the news that apparently WWE are interested in signing Matt Taven.
We've met him.
We
He's
have.
sat here before.
On the different table, not
Yeah,
this one.
yeah.